I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. McCausland, will you please call roll?
Mrs. Feist. Mr. Grisbeck.
Here.
Mrs. Hoppy.
Here.
Mrs. Janicek.
Here.
Mr. McGregor.
Here.
Mr. Modrak.
Here.
Mr. Scalzo.
Here.
Mrs. Turner.
Here.
Mr. Christensen.
Here.
8 members present.
Thank you. First time out on the agenda, we wanted to recognize some of the accomplishments of our recent athletic performances, but I'm not sure if they're here.
I think they're coming now.
And they are.
Not on cue.
Just in time.
Right on cue.
Don't sit down.
You're right up.
Are you Coach Zender?
Yes, he
Okay,
is.
I'm Barry. So Maria's told me a lot of stuff about you because you've been teaching summer school together and was very excited. Yeah.
So I'm going to just say a couple quick things
Please
to
do.
introduce our guests here this evening. So as you know, Bethel Park High School just received our third state championship. We 1988, 2021, and 2022. Back-to-back championships. Only the fourth WPIAL team to do that. And kind of a tidbit, we have a coach who in his first and second year is the only coach to accomplish back-to-back state championships in year one and year two. So I'd like to introduce Coach Patrick Zender, and we'd ask him to introduce some of his star athletes that have joined him this evening. So Coach Zender, if you would, take the mic. Come on up front.
Dude.
Most people would say I don't need a mic, but
Check, check, check.
There we
there
go.
we go. No, thank you so much, Dr. Jansani, and thank you guys for the great support that you guys provided us all. Even since I've been in Bethel Park, I've had nothing but great experiences and interactions with the administration, school board, and principals and other and administrators as well. And so I'm very fortunate to be part of such a great and special district and community in Bethel Park, and I'm so thankful to also work with some great, not only just students, but student athletes here as well and coaches. So we're very fortunate to have some of our seniors and captains here with us today. The man on the right there holding the 2021 championship trophy is junior Evan Holowinski. He was our ace this year and had through 2 consecutive shutouts, one in the state quarterfinal against West Allegheny and one in the state championship against Sealands Grove. So in the biggest moments where you turn to your ace, and he provided and threw so well every time that he was out there, and is also just such a steadying presence on the team and a great leader as well this year. He just does so many great things, not only on the mound, but he's also a great hitter, hit over 400 for us this year, and was a captain as a junior almost unanimously. So that shows the respect that the rest of the team has for Evan and what they know he can do.
So what you're saying is that there's a good chance it'll be a three-peat?
I won't, no complaints here. It's a long road ahead, but hey, with a guy like that coming back, that's going to be our goal again. No doubt about it. And absolutely, Al Levine. We just got done with Al Levine, the talking machine, and he said it's happening. So if he said it, then you can write it in stone. So we have David Kessler is the next man holding the 2022 championship trophy, and David Kessler was also he's a senior going to IUP. Well, he was also a junior captain. So again, that shows the leadership that he has and the trust that the players have in him to just provide not only good play on the field but good leadership off the field, and he makes sure everyone's working hard in practice, and in the biggest moments they turn to a guy like that, and you better believe that he's He's so consistent with his demeanor and leadership. Whether he's 0 for 4 or 4 for 4 with 3 home runs, you know you're going to get the same David Kessler, and then that's what you couldn't ask for any more out of a leader like that. So fortunate to have a guy like that and be able to coach all these guys. In just my first couple years, I just am so fortunate to work with great guys like this. The next gentleman in the white is Dylan Schmoody. He was an outfielder for us this year, and really could play a bunch of positions. And really, all 3 of our outfielders the last 2 years could also play really well in the infield. So again, that shows their versatility and willingness to do whatever it takes to help the team. And in Dylan's first year as a varsity starter this year, he was a first-team all-section selection. So again, that shows his work ethic and his ability to just jump on the biggest stage and make an impact right away. So thankful to work with such a great kid like Dylan, who also had an impactful performance in our playoff run last year, running the bases, and was able to use that experience to provide him confidence to do so well this year. And then the gentleman on the far left right there, you may recognize him from his famous BPTV series, Ghost Quest. His name is Bo Conrad. He was also one of our senior captains this year. Him along with David Kessler were 4-year starters. So we're very fortunate to have such great experience on this team. And a guy like Bo, who's not only a great player, but a great leader, again, being a captain for our team this year. He had a great pulse of the team and knew when it was time to maybe, if the team seems down, he's able to do something to help lighten the mood, whether it's draw a mustache on his face or just do a weird dance out in the outfield. He knows the right time to do something to lighten the mood, but he'll also call a meeting and say, hey, this practice was not good enough, and he knows when to be serious and when to have a little bit of fun. And I think that's a great quality and a good leader to be able to get the pulse of a team and know when to bring each of those different facets. And then the 2 gentlemen standing in the back we're actually 2 new assistant coaches this year, and so fortunate to have such young, good energy into the program. They're both educators. The man on the right in the black is Coach Tyler Dillinger. He was a teacher in the Yawk School District and coached baseball there for a number of years, and now just received an administrative position in the McKeesport School District. So again, just shows the quality of leadership and what he provides. And I actually played against him in college in baseball. He was an extremely good ball player there, but not only is he a good baseball player, knows the game, but he can teach it. And I think it's great to have educators on staff like that. The man to the left of him, you guys might recognize Coach Jared King. He's actually an 8th grade health and phys ed teacher at IMS and does a great job there, and was actually just earned that full-time position in that this year. So I think the district is really fortunate to have a guy like that in, not only because he's a great coach, but he's a great person, and again, just knows how to treat kids the right way, and also played baseball in college. That's actually at the University of Virginia. So to be able to have that type of Division I experience is just great to have in the program. But there's a lot of guys who have played at a high level who maybe can't teach it because everything came so easy to them. But Jared, I'll tell you what, is unbelievable at being able to verbalize the intricacies of the game and how he can teach kids, whether it's infield, which he played at the college level, or he was actually our pitching coach this year, and he pitched when in high school, but he never, as a coach, was in that position, and his ability to learn so quickly and adjust so quickly to make an impact right away. So thankful to work with 2 great coaches like that, to be able to jump into a defending state championship program and have us not miss a beat, and if anything, raise our level. Just it speaks to their talent as educators, as instructors, and as coaches. I'm so thankful to work with 2 great coaches like that, and these 4 leaders here of our team. So thankful as well as everyone who can't make it. Just consider myself really fortunate to be a part of such a special group for the first 2 years as a coach here. So thank you guys for having us as well.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Don't leave yet, Coach. We have a special accommodation. Special accommodation for you, Coach. We have Alexis Tribovich here from Senator Devlin Robinson's office to present you with a citation. So if you would, Alexis.
I'm Alexis. Nice to meet you. I'm here on behalf of Senator Devlin Robinson, and it's always a privilege for us in our office to recognize athletes and their accomplishments, especially this 2nd championship win in a row. So we have this for you guys, and just want to say congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Short and sweet. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
No, appreciate it. No, thank you.
Let's get the players up there. Come on up. Coaches, players. surround, get in that pick.
Should we just put them in the center?
Better baseball player than the other.
Dave, come to the center. Go to the center.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we'll go.
Oh, that's right, yeah. This is the big one here. If your picture is better, you gotta share it with Tim.
Back-to-back state champions. Let's give them a standing ovation for back-to-back state champions.
Congratulations. You guys, this is just the one we use ceremoniously, but we'll be mailing another official one. Can I send that to you at the school for our website? Okay, well, you'll get another one.
Thank you. We look forward to a three-peat next year.
So I guess for the seniors, where are you playing next year? Have you decided?
Come on and tell them we're saying.
Yeah, I'm playing at IUP next year.
Okay.
And I'll be majoring
That's
in
the shirt?
business
Yeah.
management.
Okay. Congratulations.
I'm playing at St. Vincent next year, and I'm majoring in biology.
Nice. Congratulations.
I'm playing baseball next year at Marietta College and majoring in petroleum engineering.
Nice.
I'm a junior, but I will be going to Kent State for baseball, and I don't know what I'm majoring in.
Okay. Worry about baseball first, right? Yeah. Thank you. Good job. Congratulations. Looks like we don't have any chemistry.
Yeah, I guess not. Later next time.
Yeah. Well, that was fun. Great news. Next item on the agenda, Dr. Walsh is going to give us an update on another chapter of our strategic plan, and I think this one is called the student experience.
Correct. Thank you, Mr. Christensen. Good evening, everyone. I've past 3 months have been bringing back to the board's attention another slice of the six-slice pie that we called our strategic plan. It was November 21 when the board adopted the plan. Took better part of 6 to 8 months for it to be created, and it's really made a significant difference in the focus, the direction, and the energy of the school district. In fact, I think Mr. McCausland could probably testify tonight to some of the decisions we made in terms of budget savings, budget cuts, budget priorities come from the work of the strategic plan, the strategic planning committee. Tonight I wanted to point out one of the 6 areas that we focused on in the strategic plan was the student experience. Basically trying to make sure that students feel connected, respected, and valued during their time in the school district. They spend 8 hours a day, a significant portion of their lives with us, among us, and together as students. We want to make sure that they get the maximum experience and success possible. There were 3 goals that we identified in the strategic plan under the student experience category. The first goal was to make sure that all students improve achievement and their outcomes through a universal design for learning. We've talked about this with the board in previous meetings over the past 6 months, but universal design for learning sort of focuses the teacher around lesson plans and the design of a lesson that makes it as accessible as possible for all students. Increasing choice, for instance, would be an example of that, of students' lesson being designed universally for all students to achieve. The plan, the goal is broken down into some action steps, including training and support for teachers and coaching and walkthroughs and things looking for evidence. This is all just kind of at its very infancy here in Bethel Park. We've just gotten through some first 6 hours of training with the faculty. We're going to continue to work on this throughout the next 4 years so that by the end of it we can attest to really that the design of the lessons that teachers are presenting to students really give them the maximum chance possible to succeed with the curriculum. The second goal was really focused on students' safety and sense of belonging. We talked in this one in terms of making sure we have enough counselors and social workers in the buildings, introducing some alternatives to hard discipline, things like conflict resolution, beefing up the student assistance programs that remove barriers that students encounter towards their academic and social success. And the third area that the strategic plan focused on was to ensure that students feel connected, respected, and valued through the opportunities and experiences that we provide to children and young adults in the schools, things like intramural programs, community service programs, job shadowing, and mentoring programs. Not much to report on here also. Just like the UDL goal, we're still in our infancy of getting things started. One particular accomplishment in this area, you may have noticed throughout the district during the fall and again in the spring, is signs springing up on students' families' lawns that welcome them to Bethel Park or congratulate the senior class for having successfully completed their high school years in Bethel Park. We'll continue to work on all three of these goals. These are important goals for all of us in the district, and that we believe that this begins the process of making students feel connected, respected, and valued, and therein lies their increase their opportunities to be academically successful as well. So we think this one affects almost everything else about our district. When we achieve a success with the student experience, we achieve success in all of our other areas too. We'll come back again in our next board meeting with another update, and we'll continue to make this a monthly feature to remind not just the board but the community that these are our important goals, and this is the kind of progress that we should be making each month, each year, as we work through what is now the end of the first year of a 5-year plan. Were there any questions or observations, anything from the board on the student experience goals?
Since we didn't present this while you're going through it, would we be able to attach it to board docs, just, so
Yes.
that people could go to
Yes,
the older
for sure.
meeting?
I will do that. And, we do have intentions to include the entire scorecard. We'll call it our scorecard, this progress report on the strategic plan, as a permanent place on this district website. We've kind of floundered with getting some data points to start as our baseline, so that has held us up from putting it out there, the entire scorecard. And what you're looking at tonight is just a printed version of just 3 of those goals out of the 17 in the entire strategic plan. So I will post this in board docs, and by the end of the summer, we intend to have the whole scorecard out there.
Okay, good. Yeah, and by the way, there's the version we're looking at, as Dr. Walsh said, there's a lot of red on there because it hasn't been started, but we just started this whole program just recently. So what you expect to see is that as we go through, and work on all these issues, a lot of the reds will turn to yellow and green, and as we create progress. But having the scorecard, if we didn't have this, this is why I think it's so important to first have the strategic plan and then have a scorecard to measure ourselves, because then you do have progress. Otherwise, we'd be into the trap of 4 years from now, we take it out, get the dust off, and try to assess where we're at, and everything can still be red. So this is a good process, good way to handle it, so thank you.
Yes, I just want to emphasize again, 8 months after you approved the strategic plan, that it is really ambitious. We have to agree and keep reminding ourselves that 17 goals is a big ask, because each goal has individual action steps attached to it, and administrators responsible for it, and staff working to achieve it, and ideally funding to support it. It's a lot to do, and so I'm not going to expect, or I wouldn't want the board to expect, that we would have progress on all 17 goals every month. That we have to sort of divide our time up and make sure we're focusing on as much as we can
Five-year
each
plan.
step of the way. Yes.
Yeah. Good. Okay, thank you. I need a motion to adopt the agenda for business items.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Greisbeck, seconded by Mr. Scalzo.
Voting is open. Motion carries.
Need a motion to approve the minutes from the May 10th and May 24th meeting and January 18th? Didn't we ever approve that or something?
We had to modify them or something.
That could be, okay.
So moved.
Second.
Was that Mr. Modry that seconded? I'm sorry.
Scousy.
Oh, Ben. Thank you. Voting is Voting is open. Motion carries.
I'd like to announce executive sessions that we held on June 14th, 2022 for personnel, other legal matters, and to receive information. Executive session on June 21st for personnel, other legal matters, and to receive information, as well as June 28th, 2022 for personnel, other legal matters, and to receive information. Do we have any reports? It looks like we don't have student government or PTO, PTA, so.
Correct, not during the summer, we don't have those two reports.
Right, yeah. So solicitor report, anything?
I don't have anything. I presented my updates to the board in executive session. Thank you.
Okay. Any committee reports? No? Superintendent's report.
Thank you. You already heard a lot from me about the strategic plan. We do have some bright spots to share from our curriculum coordinators. Mr. Cromie's 5 big things, he's on vacation this week, so I don't know that Mr. Cromie prepared it in advance. No, he was thinking about maybe pre-recording it, and I said, no, we'll take a week off for this time around. Certainly I know he would have said, and I will just point out that we're proud of the class of 2022 that was graduated just a few weeks ago. It was a great night, and a tremendous amount of scholarship money was wheelbarrowed out of the district with this group. And of course, we heard just a few minutes ago about the athletic prowess of this baseball team, all the athletic programs. So it was another bright spot for Bethel Park, a great night to celebrate, and I'm sure he would have talked about that had he been here tonight. Wanted to throw that out. And I'll turn it over to our curriculum coordinators for your bright spots.
I wanted to take a break and really try to focus on something light and playful for my bright spot this month. And I really pride myself on being a connected and informed educator. And as a curriculum specialist, the standards are absolutely what drive the learning, but it's also a personal area of passion for me to advocate for creativity and for students. And I've found a lot of wealth of information on social media. I am on Twitter. I share a lot of my experiences there, things that are happening in the district with my own learning. But one of my favorite spots to learn is a Facebook group called the STEM Teachers Club. And it is primarily a group of elementary teachers and administrators. And I've been a member of the group for about 4 years. And they were doing a book study this summer on a book called The Playful Classroom. And I can tell you we've been spending a lot of time looking through surveys that have come back that the teachers have completed, responses that they give on Act 48 at the end of professional development, how it went, a lot of notes from the departments. And there is a sense among them that the teachers are exhausted, and that there is some disengagement from the student in trying to pull back from COVID. And so I really think that this is an opportunity for us. This book in particular, in reading this book, I thought that this would be a really great opportunity, infusing some elements of play into instruction to reclaim the joy in our work. And I want to be very clear that and it's down on the list, but rigor and play can absolutely exist. Play doesn't always apply to every lesson. Not some play can just be intuitive, but as a pedagogical approach to teaching, it's a great way to situate your curricular goals, and also a way, in talking about the student experience, pulling in like their interests and things that are happening in their lives and putting those in a larger frame of purpose for the students. It's timeless. It's not something that is new or trendy. We can all think back to, and what's been great about this, this book club is that it's pushing me to play, which is hard because we are, you know, we are professionals, but we sometimes have to remember that we're humans as well. So just pushing me to have a more playful mindset and do those kind of things with my family over the summer. Play can spark creativity, collaboration, and critical thinking, which are all skills that students are going to need in the workforce. It's engaging and meaningful, and it connects to our basic humanity. What is really great about play is that it gives the students some autonomy, some self-governance, where they get voice and choice in how they use our learning spaces and their learning materials. It can be something that's intuitive, just free play, but when we're talking about infusing it into instruction, it's more structured and ways to show what you know or access the instructional materials. And it's a great way to provide context for new skills, and it refreshes and energizes and relaxes the learners. There's a lot of research to support play, not just in relation to the brain, but also academic benefits and social benefits. It triggers the secretion of neurotrophic factor, which is a substance that's going to cause brain growth, which is especially important in our youngest learners. We know that when students are moving, that it feeds the brain with neurotrophins, which increases the number of connections, which strengthens learning and memory. And it also increases norepinephrine and dopamine, which we know energizes us and elevates the mood, which could, again, help us reclaim joy in our work. Some of the academic benefits, we know that when we link play and language skills, that we see strong learning, especially in symbolic play, like role play. It allows for risk-taking and making mistakes without high-stake consequences, like things that are attached to a grade. And it also activates the default mode network, and that helps the kids have some self-awareness, increases memory, empathy, and moral judgment. Some social benefits: it enhances their social skills, emotional intelligence, conflict resolution. It helps them gain confidence in social situations and practice decision-making skills and working with groups. Some of the things, this is my son, and this is kind of the mindset that we live by in our house. I think we've always said traditionally, think outside the box. In my mind, it's destroy the box. What can you do with the box? And so we want to model and promote qualities such as imagination, a new way to frame a problem or solve it. Sociability. Now more than ever, we need humans that have humility and kindness and an awareness of how others are acting in a situation. Humor really creates a safe space for students to learn. Spontaneity. We know that good teaching is planned, but there also are teachable moments we know that happen in the classroom that can be very valuable. And wonder are those awe moments when students are lost in their learning and they really forget that this is learning. Those are really priceless moments as a teacher. And just some final foundational beliefs that are really important. We want to spark innovation. The airplanes and cars and trains of today were cardboard models 20, 30 years ago. You know, we want kids to remember, and as adults, remember when you wanted a tent and didn't have one, you used what you had and you made a tent. We want our students to be innovators. It builds trust. If we value these types of things in the classroom and not just the standards, it tells people that we as an organization are student first and we're putting our students first. It strengthens the relationship. Ultimately, we know that there are metrics that evaluate us and show how we're doing. But at the bottom of this are students, and they are more than just scores. It cultivates community. It's a mindset of advocacy, awareness, empathy, and compassion, and it nurtures growth. We know that when students are playing, they want to win, they want to achieve, and if we can harvest some of that intrinsic motivation and learning, we're really going to see our students soar. As far as next steps go, I am participating in the Joy of STEM conference. I'll be presenting for them on a session called Math Playground. I'm looking to attend the 2-day conference and expand some of my toolbox to learn some new things. I want to be able to support the teachers in doing these kind of things in their classroom, and we also want to infuse play and choice into the professional development for the teachers, because we want to make sure that we're modeling how we want them to teach in the classroom.
So I guess just one question. How do you see this kind of, what would this look like in the classroom? You know, I know
Really
you're
depends on
doing,
the subject area. So it may be something like role playing, where students are acting out situations. That may be appropriate in like a social studies class or a literature class. Game-based learning, that can be done with things that are low tech, that can be done with things that are high tech. It can involve movement, manipulatives in math class, and giving students choice. When we think of play, it's not always with a ball, but it are just things where the students are deeply engaged and having some voice and choice in showing you what they know, rather than it always being a standard measure of assessment like a worksheet or a test. Or so just ways to engage students that involve other escapes like movement, music, role-playing, games. So it varies from subject to subject, and I think that's an important question for teachers to understand. When we train teachers, it's important that we go back and say, what does this actually look like in the classroom? So that is something that we're really pushing ourselves, even with other things in the strategic plan, to make sure we clearly articulate what does this look like in the classroom.
yeah. Okay.
I'm going to focus my bright spot on sort of the end of the year and moving forward with some of our professional learning, as that is one of the areas of our strategic plan. And again, with growth, we want to focus on growth. And as Ms. Figlioli said, learning is in the creation, not the consumption. So again, we want to ensure that we are providing our teachers with as many opportunities to apply what we're working with, utilize that during the school year, and be able to build upon that year after year. And just so everyone is aware, we had a very fast-paced, very full calendar until the very end of school for our staff and students. And so on June 6th, we had an in-service day regarding Atlas, which is our new curriculum mapping software, and Understanding by Design. On June 7th, this was the in-service day that UDL, Universal Design for Learning, which staff had the opportunity to complete this Schoology course over the previous 3 months at their own time. In lieu of coming in at June 7th, so it was broken up into modules, and there was classroom application pieces and time for reflection. We then had our admin retreat led by Dr. Walsh on June 8th and 9th, and now during the summer and spring, some of us are working on the Universal Design Summit held by CAST, and we're doing a book study by UDL Now. It is a book by Miss Katie Novak, who we featured in our UDL course. And so we try to plan our professional development to focus on engagement, and we are utilizing the Schoology platform. And so this platform is a place where we can curate and facilitate sessions rather than speaking at the faculty, because that is not best practice. And so we can create modules, we can create shorter segments that teachers can complete at their discretion and at the pace that fits them best. There are articles, so not everyone reads at the same time. I am a paper pencil kind of reader, and other people can read on a device, and I have to print it, so you have the ability to do both. We include self-reflection, and we create that component of creation, something that teachers can take away and use this today in my classroom and reflect upon it. What worked? What do I need help with? What would I like to revisit, do differently? We are trying to make sure everything we do is relevant and focus on experience. That is a key component of adult learning, which some of our staff said we were not hitting very well. And so we're very cognizant to try to make sure that we are focusing on the learning experience for the adults in the classroom. And we have created a feedback form. As Dr. Walsh said, we're gathering that benchmark data for the first year for our professional development. So we are collating that information now, and it will be the same form used throughout the professional developments over the next few years, so that we can get a data set to see the growth in our professional development, and that we are reflecting what the teachers are requesting for their learning. From our administrative retreat, I just wanted to share a couple photos there. We did, as an administrative team, we are doing what the teachers are doing. And so we are going through the UDL course. We are going through the Atlas course. We are going through Understanding by Design. And we did a No Wonder Learned. If we have some teachers in the audience, you may be familiar with that technique. Dr. Walsh did put some play into this, and there was a winning team, and so that is a photo of our winning team. They may have been creative on how they won, but
Really good golfers.
we got to tour Bethel Park to take this outside of this room here, where we would sometimes hold a retreat and get to go and see some of these landmark items of Bethel Park and what makes the community, because it's really important to have that connection. So just wanted to share some of that. Moving forward, as I mentioned, there's a group of staff and administration that we have purchased passes to the International Summit. It's an online UDL convention. It's international, and it took place in April, and all of the sessions have been recorded, and we have various staff members who are very interested in this, and so we are planning meetings and discussing what we're watching, what we're learning, and then some of the administrative team is doing a book study that we hope we have the possibility to possibly take out to our staff next year on UDL Now by Katie Novak, who again was featured in our UDL course for the teachers. And again, we want to make sure we are modeling and we are continuing to learn with the teachers. And that is it. Thank you.
Thanks, ladies. Appreciate that. Last thing for me is to share with the board, there's 3 staff members that are retiring. You're approving their retirements tonight. Just want to share a little bit about them so you know who's on your agenda. The first one we'll tell you about is Doris Sharkey. Doris was hired in June of 2011 as a sub-minibus driver aide, but by August, we moved her into a full-time permanent bus attendant position, and she's been doing that since she was hired in 2011. She retired at the end of this school year. Ella Paisola was hired in October of 1998, and she was a substitute secretary and health room aide and became a part-time library aide at the high school in the media center, and she moved into the new high school building as the library aide when it opened, and she's been there ever since. And Glenn Solomon was employed as a substitute custodian in October of 1993. In 94, he was approved to be the district painter, and he's retiring from that position as of today. Over the years, Glenn received recognition from students, staff, and community members for all of his painting and maintenance projects. So those are your 3 retirees tonight. And that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is public comments for agenda items. So if anybody has comments to make regarding things on the agenda, now's your time to do so. Do we have any call-ins?
No call-ins.
No? Okay, let's move on to the business agenda then.
You need a motion.
Ms. Hoppy, can you take the consent agenda?
Sure. So this evening we have, we have 43 items on the consent agenda.
I don't think you have to read it.
Okay. So we need a motion.
They've been on for a week, so.
What do we do with that? We're
Just
going to
move the consent agenda. Just make a motion to move
All
the
right.
consent agenda.
I make a motion to move that consent agenda.
Second.
Take your pick.
Mr. McGregor. Voting is open. Motion carries.
Mr. Scalzo, can you take the curriculum committee?
Under Curriculum Committee, we have 2 items. First item, 2022 and 2023 Title 1A, Title 2A, Title 3, and Title 4A. Number 2 is professional development. And this is for Chelsea, I hope I get the Casagranda, to participate in the AP European History, Augsburg University Online APSI on July 11th, 2022 through July 15th, 2022. I move items 1 and 2.
Second.
Motion is made by Mr. Scalzo, seconded by Ms. Turner.
So I have a question about item 1. If one of the curriculum coordinators could kind of just give us a little bit of detail on the money in each of those categories for Title 1, 2, 3, and 4, improving basic programs, $230,000, $144. Like, what does that mean? I think if you can just explain it to the community, give a little bit of detail on each.
Sure. So Title I funds are used for schools to provide services for students that are at risk of not being proficient at the state standards. And so here at Bethel Park, we use those funds to pay for reading specialists and interventionalists who work with students on reading and or math at the elementary grade levels. Title II, one of the ways to support effective instruction is by reducing class size. And so we use those funds to pay for some class size reduction teachers. Title III, that funding is part of the AIU consortium. That is funding that is for our EL students. And if you receive under $10,000 as an individual entity, which we do, you are automatically put into a consortium with the AIU, and that money provides services for the EL students. Title IV, this money is rolled into our Title I services so that we can pay for the salaries and benefits of the reading specialists that work with the Title I students who are receiving Title I services.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And just for clarity's sake, this is all federal dollars.
Put it online.
Do we want to do a verbal unanimous consent
We
vote
can
for
do
those
a
two
roll
then,
call.
while you work on it?
Do you want to do an all in favor?
Yeah, just do it all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, let me mark it. Okay.
Okay, Mr. McGregor, can you take the Personnel Committee? I am going to have to abstain from item 4, so if you could hold that one out.
Okay. I'm going to read the 6 items. Approval of extra duty responsibility program for 22-23 school year. Approval of the 2022-23 salaries for non-Act 93 groups. Approval of 22-23 salaries for Act 93 administrators. Department facilitator or chair positions for 22-23. Approval of staffing changes and appointment of personnel.
Dr. Walsh, I have a question on number, oh, we need a second first, sorry. I'll second it, and then I have a question on number 1. The coaches and the new policy that we changed, did we go over all of those and we reviewed their?
Yet everybody that you would be approving meets the criteria that was established under that new policy that directs coaches or prevents coaches from coaching their
own
children.
And then we did look at their reviews?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So the motion is 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6? Okay.
Need a second.
Ms. Turner, second.
Second it.
Voting is open. Motion carries.
You move number 4.
Any discussion on number 4? Okay, then I move number 4, Department Facilitator Chair positions for the 2023 year.
Voting is open.
Oh, hold on. Yeah. Can you change my vote? I hit.
I can.
Yes,
You want to
by
abstain?
accident. Sorry, I'm supposed to abstain. Oh, here, I can change it here. Hold on.
Be on the
I
trigger
got it.
there.
I'll change it.
I
Don't
got it.
touch it.
I already did. Sorry. I messed it up again.
Okay, motion carries. 7 with 1 abstention.
Thank you. Mr. Grisbeck, can you take the Finance Committee items?
Yes, we have 6 items tonight under Finance Committee. Number 1, the approval of the proposed corrective action plan. Number 2, contract with Ford Consulting Services. Number 3, 2022-2023 general fund budget resolution. Number 4, payment for bus garage renovation project. Number 5, approval of PA educator contract. Number 6, approval of property resolution. Would anyone like any of those items held out, or would we like to approve each one individually? I'm fine with either way, but I was going to move all 6 together unless anyone wants one held out.
Yeah.
Let's hold it out.
Hold it out? Okay.
You know,
That's fine. We'll go one by one then. So I move to approve number 1, approval of the proposed corrective action plan.
Second.
Did you get that, Ms. Hoppy?
I
Second?
did.
Okay.
Thank you. Voting is open. Motion carries.
I move to approve item number 2, contract with Ford Consulting Services.
I second.
Ms. Janusik, seconded.
Voting is open. Motion carries.
I move to approve item number 3, 2022-2023 general fund budget resolution. Can I get a second?
I second.
Mr. McCausland, would you like to just real quickly summarize for the public what we're looking at here, as well as briefly kind of go over the changes that we looked at since last week?
Sure.
Thank you.
Currently, the budget stands at $98,175,229. It is a balanced budget, utilizing nothing from the fund balance. That is a change from last week when we were $322,911 deficit. The major change that happened is when attending the Still Center bond issue, they pushed the date back for the issuance for that renovation to later in the year. Therefore, we're only going to have one bond payment, so that reduced our expenditures by $412,000. We made some other changes with some personnel positions and some curriculum positions. We were able to adjust some of the revenue numbers as well, but that's basically how we ended up with the balanced budget. From last week, it doesn't change that it does include a tax increase of 0.9 mils, bringing the millage rate to 23.4281. But other than that, there are no significant changes from last week. Once we have the budget filed with the state, we'll be posting it online for the public so they can view it.
Thanks,
But it's also available on board docs right now.
Mr. McCausland, this new millage rate of 23.4281, that is putting us in line with 7 or 8 years ago, correct?
This puts you just back where you were in 15-16.
Okay, and that also still is, we still barely above where the 2019 millage cut was, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Okay, voting is open. Motion carries.
Item number 4 is payment for bus garage renovation project. I move to approve item number 4.
Second.
Anybody? And then just a quick clarification. I imagine that we did, but I just want to make sure that we did indeed put out for bid on this item, correct?
That's correct. We've been waiting for some permits on the tanks, correct?
Yeah, the tanks actually, the reason why it's being approved right now is they're only doing one production run, and that's during the week of 4th of July. And if we don't purchase this now, we will not be able to go on with the project for this year. So we were trying to get the project situated and paved by late fall. So this is imperative that we do this now.
Okay. Was there like a back order of detention tanks then?
It's a detention tank with concrete structures and piping, all the pieces, underground pieces that's going to be utilized as part of meeting the code for water retention.
Understood. Thank you.
Voting is open. Motion carries.
I move to approve item number 5, approval of the PA educator contract.
I second.
Voting is open. Motion carries.
I move to approve item number 6, the approval of property resolution.
Second.
Voting is open. Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, Policy Committee. Ms. Turner, can you take these? I guess we're not voting on anything, but we're just doing the second of 3 readings for these.
Correct. The first one is the Assessment System Policy Code 127. That was the change that was added for students in grade 6 who are not proficient in math or reading will be scheduled for intervention programs in lieu of the foreign language and/or STEAM enrichment classes. Proficiency is determined by PSSA scores, math testing scores, and/or teacher recommendations. That's the only change to that policy. There was an additional red line on that this past week. Another sentence was added. And the second one is 128 guest speakers.
Any comments from the board on any of these? Okay. Mrs. Janicek, can you take the 3 items under other and move those?
I'll take them separately. The first, I move the health and safety plan.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms.
I will
Turner,
be voting against this plan, just consistent with my vote in February. I'm still of the opinion that we should be tying our safety mitigation techniques to the community transmission numbers, but I understand that my opinion is in the minority on this board on that one, so I won't be belaboring the issue.
I agree. Anyone else?
Voting is open.
I move that we approve the donation of library books.
Motion carries 6-2.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
okay. Okay.
Okay. Now I move that we approve the donation of library books.
Second.
So this is something we have done in the past. We haven't done it in a while, but we've had a number of losses in the district due, both staff as well as people closely related to staff. So these are 4 books that we're going to acquire, present to the families, and donate to the libraries around the district.
And voting is open. Motion carries.
I move that we authorize the student settlement agreement and release.
Second.
Did you see, Mr. Grisbeck seconded that?
Voting is open. Motion carries.
Thank you. So that takes us to the second public comment section. This section, you can bring up anything related to school operations, any questions, opinions, comments that you have.
Hi. I'm Patty Heasley, 243 Horning Road, also teacher librarian at IMS, and as of tonight, thank you, K-12 Library Media Department Facilitator. I'm very pleased to represent this devoted team of professionals. School librarians are collaborators, curators, and catalysts in the information support of all curricular areas of our buildings, including library media skills. We develop our print and digital collections, helping in BPSD's goal to achieve best-in-class status. The Information Literacy Library Program at IMS is focused on teaching information discernment and meeting academic needs of the students in digital and print formats. I teach them how to evaluate websites, what digital and print information is best suited to the task at hand, and how to give credit where credit is due. I also partner with our reading and language arts teachers to get the right books into the hands of reluctant and voracious readers. Print and database collection development through consulting professional reviews and teacher collaboration is a perpetual task. There is some talk of pausing this program while IMS undergoes facility renovation. I feel that's unnecessary. I have spent the final month or more of last school year preparing to meet student information needs during our renovation. and see no reason to hold the library media program back from the students and staff. I have curated and found accessible storage for over 2,000 books that will support the fiction and nonfiction needs of the students and their projects. The IMS Library website, which I develop, will be the launching point for students with information needs. How to use and access these digital and print materials will be instructed through my regular classroom visits. I'm asking for the BPSD classes of 2027 and 28 to have the same quality information offerings and skills development that all other classes have had. By avoiding this proposed gap, we will continue to guide our young teens through the world's overload of information, helping them to become productive members of society. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Do we have any call-ins?
No call-ins.
Okay. Let's move on to board comments. Any comments?
As a parent of somebody in the class of 2022, I would just like to recognize the class of 2022 accomplishments. 188 of those 320 students that participated in graduation graduated with honors, high honors, or highest honors. 81% of those are going on to a 4-year college. 11% are going on to a 2-year college. 5% are going on to a technical school, while 1% are going to the military and the workforce. As the chair of the student experience, I think these kids are living the student experience moving forward. And I'd also like to encourage all our incoming class of kindergartners to paint Bethel Park orange. Put those signs out. Let the community welcome you to the Bethel Park School District. There were a lot of parents that had a great time with those signs last year. Let's do it again. You were given them, I believe, at registration. And if you weren't, your elementary buildings have them, so please pick them up. It's a great way to welcome all the new kindergarten class to Bethel Park. Again, I am very glad that we passed the Teams Room Tonight facilitator to start that process. As a parent of a high school student, that was something that over the last couple of years is very much needed. Gives them time to talk to somebody. There's a social worker that's always there, a psychologist, you know, those kinds of things that will be easily accessible. And along with Mrs. Heasley, congratulations to the new elementary facilitator, something we haven't really done by department in the new contract that starts next Friday. We have department chairs by academics for the elementary school, so congratulations to all of them. Thank you.
I just wanted to say congratulations to this year's class, to the baseball team, and all the sports teams. It's all very exciting. And I'm thrilled to bits at our leadership team here in the district, and the administration, and the staff, and how well you all are working together, and to see so much forward progress. And what you showed us tonight was just fabulous, and I'm sure the staff appreciate the kind of professional development that you're leading them with. And I love that you're modeling for them both principles of learning and UDL, even when you aren't teaching them about UDL. Awesome. It's all wonderful, and I'm thrilled, absolutely thrilled to see how we're going to grow as a district and all of the benefits that come from having such a good team with great leadership and so much effort to really make it a family. And it's felt and it's seen, and you are all working very hard, and we appreciate you. And it's so exciting to be at this point in the journey and starting our strategic plan reporting out and really thinking about what we need to do next. It's great. Thank you all very much.
So that's what I wanted to comment on also, but thank you for teeing that up. I think that we started the school year, the only thing in the news was COVID. It's the only thing people talked about. We had 3-hour meetings, you know, dedicated to, you know, public comments about COVID and, you know, into the whole science of do masks work, don't they work, blah, 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 all that stuff. And it seemed like that's all was going on. But I got to say, through the whole leadership of the administrative team, we got the strategic plan. We've been making progress on it. Ms. Turner talked about some of the accomplishments of the senior class. We saw our rankings go up this year. So I know that we have been hard on you, as a board, on the administration in a few meetings. It's not because we don't like you. It's because we know we can all do better. And so I just want to thank you. We made it through the year. We got lots more to do. But I think the future looks really great for us. It really does. So thank you. Any other comments? Okay, motion to adjourn? Second? Second? All in favor? Opposed?